DGENZ, the show starts now. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where friends are made and we all drink that red maple. Break. Juan's got his eyes on the latest somehow. Reading forex that make you go wild. Crypto crazy is a man on a mission like a Tesla. He most def got a vision. Weekly roundtable, we got no cables. Predicting the future using their bagels. Chart is throwing out.
Well, guys, Pi had a successful launch, and we are going to go over the numbers with you today. We're going to go over that and more on today's episode of the Weekly Roundtable. Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget, nothing on this stream should be considered financial advice. It's strictly for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors. So once again, I'd like to thank the entire community for your support. The channel is really showing some good growth, and we couldn't be happier. We appreciate you all. So let's get right to it. I'll bring up the panel. As usual, we have Juan G and Crypto Cruiser. How you gentlemen doing this week?
I'm definitely richer than I was yesterday. Thank you, Pi.
Awesome. That makes two of us. Cruiser, yourself?
Very good. And in the same boat.
Awesome. All right, we're going to change things up a little bit this week, guys. We're going to listen to the feedback, and we're actually going to jump right into the headlines and the news first, and we'll cover the charts and all of the data afterwards, and we'll touch on our headlines for this week as well. So right off the hop, first thing, obviously, the elephant in the room is Pi launch this morning. It was a successful launch. I'm going to actually bring up the Pi chart. I'll share the screen right now. Currently, let me change this over. Can't really go to the daily. All right, let's go to the 15-minute chart. Okay, so here's the Pi chart. It launched this morning at 3 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. UTC. As you can see here, price did jump quickly up to, I get, different exchanges show different prices. This one here on TradingView shows $3.40. There are some others that was high $2. Either way, it shot straight up as expected, and then there was a sell-off, and it seems to be kind of, finding its bottom. And if, it's starting to look like it's showing a rounded bottom here, which is a really, really good sign. Currently, it's at 86 cents. It was, a long time in coming, 6 years, a lot of speculation out there that they were actually going to postpone it again, but they did not. It actually launched. It was successful. And, the numbers look good as well. Send over here. Here is the information. I'm going to bring it on the main screen here. Here we go. So the ranking currently on CoinMarketCap is 3,142. It has a market cap of $5.46 billion, fully diluted at 86 million. Now, for those that, you follow the numbers on market cap and all that, that's a little bit deceiving because most of the Pi has not been mined yet. So keep that in mind. Also, there was a lot of pioneers that were mining. They lost their phones, lost their passphrases. They have their Pi locked up. So there's a lot of different reasons why the market cap and the fully diluted are way off. I believe there was still, Cruiser, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's still, what was it? I think it was 10 billion total mined. So there's like 80 or 90 billion left to be mined. And that's going to take a long, long time for it to be mining on the phone, like a long, long time. So that those numbers are a bit skewed. So I wouldn't worry too much about tokenomics on that one. 24-hour volume compared to market cap, 21%. The all-time high was $2.10, according to this. Like we showed on the chart, some of them did show up over $3. All-time low was, what is this? Hardly even read that, 61 cents, sorry. Circulating supply, 8.3 billion, minimum supply, 100 billion. Like I said, most of those haven't been mined or a lot of them are lost. Total supply, 9.7 billion. Now, I also wanted to see what the total volume was today, and I couldn't quite find it. I was going to maybe look on CoinMarketCap, unless you have that, Ryan. Do you have that information, Cruiser? I'm going to look on CoinMarketCap right now, because I did want to see exactly the volume for today. Obviously, it was probably a lot because anyone watching the chart today was watching it just go crazy. CoinMarketCap has it at No, it doesn't have the volume here. Oh, here it is. Yes, it is. Sorry. 24-hour volume, $1.65 billion today, or actually since this morning at 8 a.m., which is a lot of volume. So a lot of interest in the token. I think we're starting, according to the chart, we're starting to see a lot of buy pressure, which is nice to see. Well, hopefully that does continue for all those pioneers that have been mining and participating in Pi for all this time. So that's the pie chart. I know we were going to get into the news, but I just wanted to show that right off the top. Okay. Also, some of the headlines that I wanted to mention. There have been actually two more exchanges that have listed Pi. So we already knew about BitGet, OKX, and Gate.io. We also have MEXC and BitTrue as well. And I'm sure there's going to be more that launch the token, especially now with today's volume. And everyone's seeing that it's a legitimate token, because a lot of people were saying that it's a scam, but clearly not a scam. Black Cat says, not financial advice. Okay, then I'm out. You know better, Black Cat. Nothing you ever hear anywhere is financial advice. You always got to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Anyway, to continue on headlines, we have a little bit of SEC story a bit later on, but I also wanted to mention that they've launched their own cyber unit to combat cryptocurrency fraud. Anyone who's been in the crypto space the last few weeks have seen scam after scam, rug pull after rug pull, even worse than normal. It seems like it's been a free for all, and I think a big reason for that is because people thought, with the new administration, the current SEC was going to be changing the way it looked and the way they dealt with crypto. So they thought they were going to be able to just do whatever they wanted. Well, no, that's not the case. They don't want to enforce they don't want to do regulation by enforcement like the previous SEC, but they do have to find a way to regulate the space and make sure that scammers don't go unchecked. So they're going to launch a cyber unit, which is, bullish in my opinion. I think that they have to do something to kind of police this whole industry, or else it's just going to go buck wild. Binance US finally resumes USD deposits, first time since 2023, which is nice to see. Binance is finally coming around. I think we're going to see a lot more of this now, as I previously mentioned, with the new SEC. A lot of companies are not going to be so worried about being sued or served Wells notices, so they're going to finally start relisting and giving services that they used to offer before, which is amazing to see. Michael Saylor's strategy, they are going to raise $2 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. Good old Michael Saylor. He's approaching 500,000 Bitcoin. Like, just think about that number, 500,000 Bitcoin. That's crazy. And to think that that's only the number 7 holding. You have BlackRock and Fidelity and the like that also are in the hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Pretty soon we're going to have a supply squeeze. Supply and demand, and Bitcoin is not infinite. There's only 21 million. Most people say anywhere between 15 to 19 million that are going to be available. The rest are lost. And there's going to be a price squeeze, and supply squeeze. Sorry, and you know what that means for Bitcoin. Price go up to the moon. And then lastly here, we have a little bit of information as well about the Libra fiasco, rug pull, or scam, whatever you want to call it. We're unsure exactly behind the scenes what's going on, but Juan has the latest on what's going on there with Libra. Juan, what's the update on that?
Yeah, this news update brought to you by Blowfin, where whales are made. So there was a huge investigation done by CoffeeZilla, and it's crazy. So Libra. So let's start with the word snipe, right? So memes are usually put together by a group of people. Some of them are even whales, and they have a team of people ready to, as soon as that token launches, they have a team ready to buy their own tokens, right? And usually they're not limited, so they tend to buy like 30, 40, 50% of that supply within seconds, if not like microseconds within the launch of that token, right? And apparently they found that Libra was one of those tokens, and it was linked to Melania's token as well. So this is what we're talking about as a team when we talk about being careful with memes. It's usually because of stuff like this. And this was set up from the get-go to be this way. The good news for some people right? And it depends on how you want to take this, is that 100 million that disappeared is still available. It's still liquid. It's still in the blockchain. And the way we know this is because the blockchain shows all. So they've contacted CoffeeZilla to actually be one of those people to help solve the issue, but he decided to kind of not want to be a part of that, rightfully so. I don't think there's a right answer to deal with it, right? Because if they burn the tokens, then that money kind of disappears, and fine, the value is there, but you really can't do nothing with it. And then if they decide to just put it back on the chart, then everybody who kind of been sniping and was, well, let's just put it this way: the whales are the ones that are going to be rewarded, right? And you guys are going to be left just being liquidity. So, God forbid they just refund everybody, right, guys? I mean, come on. At the end of the day, it's sad. It's sad for those who believe in the government. The government itself of Argentina is distancing himself again, but they already found tons of tweets of him originally supporting it. Now he's stepping away. And, even more callously, in my opinion, is like, hey, the majority of Argentinians weren't even the ones who probably invested in this. So why does that even matter to me? And I'm paraphrasing, but that's how I kind of took it when I heard him speak in Spanish. So it was really disappointing to hear their position in Argentina. I'm hoping, again, that our government steps up. You mentioned that they're having a team put together to combat this level of fraud. And I hope that those are the people they kind of go after. And unfortunately, that might, lead to some other investigations. And I don't know how closely, if any, with the Melania and Trump meme coins that were launched. But ultimately, we need justice here. We know who the players are. They've identified themselves. I don't see why not. If you guys need more in-depth story on this, I would highly urge you guys to visit CoffeeZilla's YouTube channel and kind of look it up right there. It's an amazing story. It's very sad, and but the good news, the silver lining, is that 100 million is still liquid. So I'm hoping we can get some money back from those who who invested in it, and things turn out for the best.
I was gonna spill out a few more numbers here. There was 9 of the top accounts, the founding accounts is what they're calling them. They combined, they earned about 87 million, which was obtained from 50,000 investors in the token, and they saw the value like literally disappear almost as quickly as it went up.
What's the sad part is that some people were complaining that, but the investors, the ones who were sniping, that they were mad that they didn't sell at the height of the token, and that they were ripped off millions. Yes.
Give me a break. And let's not remiss the guy who seems to be like, the more I read about this guy, this Hayden, the one that was kind of behind facilitating this launch. The more I hear about this guy, the more he is a snake. It's almost like he knows what he's doing is wrong. Well, he does know what he's doing is wrong, but he doesn't do it behind the scenes. He's actually doing it and then admitting to doing it. He just seems real cocky, and I hope he gets what's coming to him. And this cyber unit that we discussed that the SEC is going to be implementing, they need to go after people like him who are blatantly ripping people off and do it over and over again. Like you had mentioned, there's the 6 degrees of separation. He was part of the Melania token. He was also part of one other one. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And of course, it all streams through different platforms like Meteora and a few others. And the people that were given the opportunity to participate in these things but turned it down. For example, like CoffeeZilla, those are the guys. We need more of them in this space, because it's real easy to rip off or scam, especially newbies in the crypto space. And we need more people that will not do that, and they will fight to put an end to that. And will actually, their whole goal is to make people earn a profit, like get gains without being ripped off. And we try to do that. We always try to preach ways to stay safe. And I really like to see all those bigger influencers out there that are also doing the same.
It's funny that even though Meteora is claiming that they didn't have any wrongdoing, the CEO ended up stepping down himself. Even their VP said they believe the CEO when they said that, there's no financial wrongdoing done. But at the end of the day, he still stepped down, right?
And
So
what does that
there's
tell you?
some, right. I mean, it's got to mean something, right? And you're right. I'm hoping that the SEC kind of taps CoffeeZilla a little bit, right? And maybe kind of even puts him on the panel, puts him on something, because the guy's very knowledgeable on the blockchain, had lots of
Been
connections,
around a long time.
and has been around a long time, correct?
Yeah.
And I think that we, like you said, we need people like him being involved and looking out for our interests. And this is one of the best ways where be a true success story where people trying to do the right thing gets rewarded. And this is the type of government that can do it, right? Trump has tapped in Elon Musk for certain things, and other private citizens to step up for their government versus staying within the confines of a Republican or a Democrat to kind of do more politicians' work, right? So this is an opportunity to kind of show how we can better serve the public, right? By using our own private citizens and stepping up. And I think CoffeeZilla could probably do a great job at that.
Well, I'm sure this isn't the last that we're going to hear about the whole Libra fiasco, scam, rug pull, whatever you want to call it. And but it could be every season. By season, I mean different narrative in crypto. There's always kind of a defined beginning and then a defined end, and you can kind of slowly see liquidity and interest jump from one narrative to the next. Now, as much as meme coins have really popped off this bull market earlier in the year, I'm kind of hoping this is the end of that narrative, that part of the bull market, because a lot of money, there's a ton of liquidity that is going into the meme coins. People are getting in, getting out, 15 minutes, an hour, money just recirculating, and it's kind of taking away from other altcoins. And in my opinion, it has halted or at least stalled the altcoin season. So I'm kind of hoping now with this, because this combined with not that Trump was a rug or anything, but the liquidity was sucked out of the market, and then of course that token went down as well. I'm kind of hoping that maybe people are ready to lick their wounds and actually start putting their money into proper projects, real projects, builders that are trying to make a good product, and the actual proper use case of crypto. So let's hope that maybe this was kind of the last straw. People are going to say, all right, enough's enough, and they're going to start investing in the blue chip meme cryptocurrencies, altcoins, including Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum is showing a little bit of strength. So, I mean, if that can continue and the altcoins can follow, maybe we can go on a bit of an altcoin season, and we'll show those charts in a minute to see exactly how that looks currently. So that is all I have for news. Do you gentlemen have anything else you want to add? Cruiser, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to say, actually, just kind of going a little further with what you were just saying, wanting that liquidity back in the altcoins, this whole Libra thing could it could kind of hinder that as well, because now the discussions, of course, are ramping up about Solana's weaknesses, and there's a debate whether it's a structural weakness or if it's not, but I just think that this whole situation could affect a lot more than just the Libra component of it, right? It could have far-reaching effects throughout the whole crypto space, just with uncertainty and fraudulent activity, which is it really is a byproduct of networks growing. There's always going to be bad actors, but
Exactly. I think.
I think
Go ahead.
that, I just think that this could hinder the altcoins taking off like we had hoped, even more so than they've already been held back. So let's hope not. But yeah,
you're absolutely right when it comes to Solana chain, because it's already you already see the effects. Jupiter is way down. Pith was way down, but it's rebounded today. Solana itself is way down. So you've already seen the effects. A lot of people were, it's the same old thing when people get angry in crypto, whether it be Bitcoin or whatever, or if they lose in a leverage trade, they anger trade. So what they'll do is, they'll run on emotion. So a lot of Solana ecosystem projects lost a lot of liquidity. But at the end of the day, it's really not Solana's fault. Yeah, they are a highly scalable blockchain. It's easy to use. That's why it was taken advantage of. But if you look at the last cycle before Solana began to take off, Ethereum was the one that everyone was popping off meme coins and creating rug pulls and stuff. But the reason it didn't become as large as it did in this cycle with Solana is simply because of the fees. Ethereum was way too expensive to deal with back in the last bull market, so you didn't see the ease of use and the cheap gas fees that you see with Solana. But I mean, even though Solana did go down, and you're right about something like this having a negative effect across the space, but there were outliers. Like Sui has had a nice. As I mentioned, Ethereum was rebounding. Injective was another one that was doing really well. So there were projects that people were saying, okay, well, this one is legit. This one is proper. I want to take my money out of Solana and go into these, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's only temporary. People have short-term memories in crypto, and they'll be investing in Solana again in no time.
If anything can survive it, it'll be Solana.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you guys. I think it depends on how Libra gets handled. I remember when the SBF event happened. Same thing, right? You had the whole issue, people pulling out money, and then 3 months later, we're back on track, right? So I definitely see the same thing. I actually see this also being just as big as the SBF, right? And what he did. So I just don't see it getting like this being, oh my God, it's time to dump Sol and drop it back down to $17, right? Now, if you look at the chart, you can see a head and shoulders pattern, and you get a little concerned and see if it's going to finish it off, or is it going to hold the neckline? Those are things we got to look at, right? And that's just regular TNA. But at the end of the day, like Cruiser said, short-term memory, people are going to move on, and then get back on it. But I'll tell you, the meme, and I said this last time, but and this is just kind of shows more proof of what I've been saying. Memes are just never going. The amount of money going into memes, I just don't see it lowering, as people still feel it's a lottery for them, right? Yeah. It's just a different version of a lottery, and if you look at your own state's lottery, wherever you're at, right, you always see it go from 10 million all the way to 100 million to $1 billion. Why is that? Because people keep buying, right? Because people keep having that hope. And that's the attractive part of memes, right? That hope of, I'm going to take 100 and I'm going to come out 100,000, and unfortunately it does happen. And I say it unfortunately because it gives people this false hope, but unless you're a sniper or get extremely lucky, right? And you get in that entry, or you hear about it early, or the people in Meteora who gave you the heads up. I just feel that it's always going to be, I think, a continued battle between memes and altcoins right now, and just the memes are winning right now, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and as I said, I do believe that eventually people will get tired of losing money or tired of the meme scene, and they will jump over to blue chips and more legit projects. And it all depends on what the next narrative is. I mean, right now, I think other than memes, which has been the narrative throughout the bull market, right now RWAs seem to be really hot ever since the Ondo conference in New York last week. You've heard the administration talk about RWAs. You've heard Fink and BlackRock talking about tokenization, which that takes advantage of RWA tokens such as Chainlink and Ondo is another example. So I think once a clear narrative emerges, first it's going to take Bitcoin to kind of break out of its range that it's in right now. I'll show the chart in a minute. But once Bitcoin does break out, I'm sure another narrative will kind of come into focus. And a lot of the money that's been going in meme coins during this sideways chop when nothing's really been happening, a lot of that liquidity, at least I'm hoping, will go into the proper tokens. But time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. That's what I'm hoping, because we do need that meme coin, that altcoin season, or a lot of people will feel that this bull market would ultimately be a fail, even though Bitcoin has gone from 16,000 at the bear market low all the way up to currently 98,000 and change, but we a high of 108,000 at one point, which is an amazing return. But altcoins haven't really followed and haven't really had the same kind of price action. So let's hope it does.
Agreed.
Okay, that's it for news. I think this week it's not that it's a slow week, but after a while, it's kind of the same headlines, and you don't really want to go over them over and over again. So let's book it right into the charts. So here's a Bitcoin chart. Currently, Bitcoin is sitting at, as I mentioned, 98,316. We are still chopping sideways within this range that between about approximately 90, well, we'll say up here, 93 to 105. Just been chopping in this range, just like we were way back here when it got really, really boring. I'm sure you guys remember this time. All we did is range sideways for months and months and months and months. It was like 7 months actually, before we finally broke out. And now here we are again. Hopefully this range, this chop consolidation, I've heard the word used before. It's a pretty good term. Hopefully this one doesn't last quite as long, because that was really, really boring. I'd like to see, well, the 200 here has finally crossed over the 100,000 mark, which that's good to see, but we just need Bitcoin to get back above. It had held as support for quite some time. And then during that consolidation, or that capitulation, I should say, a couple of weeks ago, it broke down below and it's rejected off of it a couple of times. And now we're just going sideways. But we are starting to see some bullish news, and the negative sentiment in the market seems to be subsiding. I just hope that continues, because we do need this market to get going. Okay, here I wanted to also show Ethereum, since we were talking about it. It broke down from this buy zone, this liquidity area, and it as well is going sideways, but not too bad. I mean, it's doing a little bit better than some of the other altcoins out there.
That's still horrible
USDT
for Ethereum.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's still horrible for Ethereum.
Yeah, it is. It
For where
really
we thought it would be.
Yeah. If you ask anybody at the beginning of the bull market, if you were to say that Ethereum was going to underperform Bitcoin by a lot, I don't think anybody would have believed you. But I mean, if you look at this chart going back to February, so about a year ago, it's just been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We've been ranging.
I don't even know if you can call this underperforming at this point.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been in this range. Like, it just hasn't seemed to want to get out of it for an entire
It's not
year.
being supported. That's what it is. It's really not being supported. You can tell people were happy to kind of just let it drop to where it needs to drop to. Again, when you see it really hold under the EMA the way it's been doing, and not holding above in the EMA for a long time, it just show that this passionate plea that it has right with its people right now. And it's unfortunate, because I think Ethereum is needed right now. It's needed, and it's never decoupled from Bitcoin, which is another rarity, right? Usually you'll see Ethereum, and not all the time, right? But you'll see it once or twice a week and per month, where it decouples completely from Bitcoin and says, I don't care if Bitcoin dropped, I'm going to hit 4K. And you haven't really seen that, right? You haven't seen that decoupling from Bitcoin. And that's what I want to see. I need to see that. I think people need to see that in order to kind of believe back in Ethereum again.
Yeah, right now the sentiment is Ethereum is dead. That just seems to be everywhere you read. People are like, Ethereum is old tech. It's never going to come back. There's nobody scaling on it, nobody building on it, which a lot of that is true. Ethereum really needs to do something. And I'm not talking about L2s. L2s are, not the way. They need to properly, they need to fix Ethereum so it's a proper working L1 that people can build on. You're talking about support.
Even more so than that, I said months ago that Ethereum was going to get left behind this cycle. With the internal struggles, I don't think it has any hope of doing anything until they figure that out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Vitalik, as it's funny. Yeah, the power of grass, says Vitalik ain't clapping. Yeah, he's not doing a lot of anything these days.
Yeah.
Dating maybe, but that's about it. But yeah, if you look at the chart here, where Ethereum is right now, it's, you know, as far as support goes, that's about as much support as you're going to get. And every time I go off, my arrow goes away. But yeah, I'll just move this up. Pretty much right where the price is right now. You can see that it has support stretching back to, you know, all the way back here in January 24th, so over a year. Maybe we can have a little bit of bounce here, and you know, Ethereum can finally take off. And we mentioned last stream too, last week, that every time Ethereum shows a little bit of strength, Bitcoin dumps, and the same thing happened again. Just as Ethereum showed a little bit of strength, it decided to dump on us, or not, Bitcoin decided to dump, and Ethereum kind of followed the rest of the market. But that is what it is. Okay, now let's go to the important one, Bitcoin dominance. Here is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I haven't actually looked at this one in a little while. I'm curious to see. Okay, we did reject off this upper trend line on dominance, and it started coming down. I was kind of hopeful that Bitcoin dominance would continue to drop, which would give the signal that altcoins were showing strength. But you know, once again, it is starting to range up. And I have a couple of different scenarios that we posted on the stream last month. And yeah, so far it seems to be following this to a T. It'd be nice if it rejects off of this upper trend line again and comes down. That would be ideal. And I did see USDT dominance. I believe it's holding support actually right now on that long-standing trend line. I'm not even sure how far back this goes, but if I go to the weekly, gives us a better look. There we go. So that's been you know, kind of a support that it has had for many, well, how does this go back? February 18, 17. So you're looking at 8 years or so. Yeah, it did show a bit of strength, came back down. But anyway, it's showing support on that previous upward trend line again. Okay, and then I also wanted to show, oh, for those that don't know, we need this dominance to break down. I'm gonna go back to the daily. We need it to break below that support line there, because the higher USDT dominance is, it means that there's more money sitting on the sidelines and not as much in the market. We need to see this dominance drop down. That means money is flowing into the market, and prices go up, basically. And then here's the others chart. It has well broken down out of this previous channel that it was in. I'm going to go to the weekly again. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay. So it was in this bull pattern, if you want to call it that. And, you know, a few weeks back, or a few months ago, actually, we slightly broke out, but it was a fake out, came back down in, went all the way to the bottom of the channel and broke down through the bottom. So obviously this is not ideal. We need this to get back into this channel and, you know, complete this as just a fake out and then break out to the upper end. And these are different zones that I plan on taking profits. Had planned on taking profits. I still believe that we are going to get that bull market that we've been waiting for. We just have to wait for that. Okay, so that is the charts. Let's take a quick. Oh, did you guys have any questions on that? We can come back to Bitcoin in a minute. I just want to get through these real quick, and then we can have a discussion. So here is the ETF inflows. Let's give this a refresh. Okay. As you can see, we did have that one day on Friday of inflows, but we've had since then 3 straight days of outflows. Today's price action on Bitcoin tells me that we probably had an inflow day. But we'll wait and see tomorrow. I'll check the chart and see how it looks. But I mean, these aren't major outflows. You know, we got what, 60 million, 64 million, and 168 million. So it's just small little blips. It's probably, if I go down here, oh, it actually is a little bit of IBIN, of course, Grayscale are the majority of those. So that's the ETF inflows. Nothing major there yet. No major dumps. And then here is the CBBI. Give this a refresh. Last week we were at a 73. Currently we are at a 72. This just shows all the major cycle top indicators all in one chart here. And we are nowhere near the top of this cycle according to these major indicators on here. So that's it for the charts. quick and easy, painless. Okay, is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss before we move on to one of our, not sponsors, but a friend of the channel and their weekly newsletter, something that they've added on there as well that we can show our viewers? Anything you guys want to add to the charts?
Well, for Bitcoin, like I say, I'm still bullish. It looks great. I love it when it ranges because the market becomes very easy to predict, and you can take advantage of this market. To me, I'm like you. I don't want to stay here for 6 months, but you love to see a ranging market so that people can take advantage of buying low and selling high, and vice versa, and taking shorts. I love to see volume. It looks like the candle is going to start hitting that EMA, so that's a good sign to see if it's going to reject or is it going to kind of burst through that EMA, and then we might see some action there, right? The EMA looks like it's starting to round off there too towards the top. So those are things that other people are seeing. So I'm excited to see that. And I was thinking about that something we've mentioned in the past too with Pi and the IOU. And I hope that you guys were able to avoid a lot of it, because as you saw today, for the last 2 days before the launch, had a huge spike on the IOU and then a huge drop. And people, I think it went as high as $200 and as low as $35. So it just goes to show, we love to give out education, what to avoid. And that's one of the things that, that these markets are designed, is to take advantage of people sometimes. And we definitely want to continue to educate. And I love being on the platform that we can do that for people. And it looks like, this is another call that we made where IOU could have been, if you were at the bottom, hey, maybe you were lucky enough to sell. I don't like to rely on luck and hopium. I like to kind of control and manifest my own destiny. And TNA allows me to do that. And of course, education. So hopefully you guys were able to avoid some of the tragic moves and stuck to minding your own pie. Pun intended.
I got that. I wasn't going to laugh, but I had to. Okay, the power of grass. I'm not selling my USDT. I'm Canadian. I'm making a fortune on the stable coin. Yeah, good point for all of us north of the border. Having that USDT with our Canadian dollar losing its buying power, losing its value against the US dollar. It's not a bad thing to be holding USDT. And the other good thing about our dollar weakening, unlike you guys down there in the south, when we do, take profits out of our crypto, everything is in US dollars. So the exchange is rather nice. It's kind of a pleasant surprise when you exchange from USD into CAD, and you see how much extra you actually get because of our weak dollar. But that's a story for another day. All right. So, go ahead. Yep.
Before we move on, I just wanted to make a comment about the charts. Overall, I'm still bullish on everything we're seeing there. But what's making me a little cautious is where the RSIs seem to be. The short term, it just kind of taken away a little bit of optimism. But overall, I'm at least hoping we're going in the right direction. I've just been watching those RSIs, the different RSIs, because they're not where I like them to be. But that's all I gotta say about it.
Which one specifically, or just you talking Bitcoin?
Well, no, all of them really. When you show Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're all, and many other charts I'm looking at, all the RSIs, the prices aren't matching really what the RSIs at least show they should be. Everything seems
talking about
to be
the oversold condition, right?
Yeah,
I'm noticing here on the daily on Bitcoin, the RSIs are at the top of the zone. You're right, but
and
we have had a 2-day pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point that out. That I'm a little cautious about that. It takes a little bit of the optimism away, but overall, I'm hopeful that we're heading in the right direction here.
That's why it's vital, right? To see if it's going to reject off that EMA, right? The RSI plays a role in that. It could have enough power to hit that and then come right down and reconsolidate itself and readjust the RSI, or it can bust through and then reject off the resistance level, right? Right now it's just ranging, and I think it's prime time to. For me, it's a great time to learn how to look at analysis. If you really measure how much money you can make or lose within this range, it's safe to say that you can practice and really learn more about what Bitcoin does, because it's predictable on where it can go. Either you're going to bust loose or not, right? But at the end of the day, you can say, okay, what indicators would have helped me make a better decision for me, right? And this is where you can learn a lot from. Not to cut you off, Crazy, sorry.
I was just going to say, that being said, Cruiser, you're absolutely right. The RSI is in the upper band, slightly oversold. But if you look back here, there are times that, price action can go up and RSI can go sideways and still reset. So, it's possible. I mean, we could stay up here and continue to rise up slowly, and this RSI could just kind of level off. We have a bit of a correction. It comes down.
Yeah.
But at least we aren't extremely oversold. Being up here in the mid to high 80s is nothing too much to worry about. And don't forget, we are in a bull market. A lot of times in a bull market, the RSI can hang out in that upper range for quite some time.
Which is why I said it's just slightly, I mean, it's certainly not concerning, but just slicing off a little piece of optimism, but not a whole lot.
Well, it's always good to be cautious, because you got to be a little bit cautious in order not to give yourself or put yourself in too much of a risky situation and lose money, etc. It's always good to be cautious, but we have been going sideways for a little while. Eventually, if we still are in the leg of the bull market that I believe we are going to eventually start going back up again. And with us chop solidating like we are right now, that's a good way for all the indicators and all of the different signs to reset, and then we continue our next run. But like I said, I'll never predict price, because nobody can. We just follow the charts and see what the charts say, and report the news to all you guys informed. Okay, before I move on, anything else you guys want to add?
Nope.
Good to go.
That's about it. Okay. We'll do a summary in a second, but I did want to share this. We don't have Terry or Silas on this week, but they're from DGENZ Crypto, and they have a DGENZ Crypto weekly newsletter, which we always talk about on this program. We actually have the link in the description every single week. But they've actually, on their newsletter, this is the latest one called Dump Fest. It was just released a couple days ago, February 19th. They now, if you read their newsletter, go through the charts, all their TA, the different articles and newsletters, down at the bottom, they actually now have an advert for our live stream and our YouTube channel, which is very nice of them. They approached me, asked if it was all right, and of course I said absolutely. So they got the direct link right here, and gives you a direct link to our channel. So really, really appreciate that from them. A lot of great information here if you're into NFTs, and even if you're not into NFTs, you're just into crypto itself, into trading, into spot buying. You want to know the ins and outs, what's hot, what's popular, and every other bit of information in between. This is definitely a great newsletter. It's free to sign up. You just get the newsletter once a week. All you have to do is sign up using the link below, which is a direct email link. Just put in your email, password, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. Just wanted to give that a quick shout out, and we appreciate them very much. They're usually on here. We have Terry Chart comes on every now and then. He was a regular member a few months back. And now we have Terry that comes on and does a little bit of TA, gives us some meme coin info. And then, of course, we have Stylus, who is the NFT artist for DGENZ. And we have her on the show every now and then. And she's kind of a noob, which is, she's kind of the epitome of what a lot of our viewers and listeners are. Just kind of getting into crypto, know a little bit about it, but don't know a lot about it. And she comes on here and learns just like everyone else, which is amazing. Oh, speaking of which, Stylus, were your ears ringing?
Well, I was listening. I didn't want to join because you guys have really serious conversation today that I cannot enter as a person not educated enough in this. So I was just listening as I do every week, because it's very helpful, and I'm very thankful to you for your opinion sometimes, because it's just, to stay in the loop. I want to thank you for every single week showing our newsletter. It's important to us, and that is why I approached you and asked if it's okay to add a little note in our newsletter. We have over 100 subscribers. Last week we finally broke this, so it's a big
Amazing.
deal, and I'm so happy to have you there too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you listening in every week. And of course, we'll continue to mention the newsletter, because I believe it's a valuable piece of information, and just another way for anyone who's trying to learn the space to develop their skills and educate as well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you so
Anytime that
much.
we can get information for free, that we can utilize, whether it's for TNA, whether it's just to be aware of consumer confidence or sentiment, take advantage of it, guys. It's a free newsletter. They're very welcoming and inviting. They answer questions. They're very talkative. And I definitely would recommend any opportunity for you guys to take any advantage in whether you're trading or stocks or Forex or crypto, right? You're just getting this information of sentiment that, they're all related one way or the other, right? Gold affects Forex, and Forex affects crypto, and crypto then affects stocks, and stocks then affects everything else, right? So for me, it's an invaluable tool to use in conjunction with your trading.
Very good point. I agree 100%.
And I'd love to thank Instalis and her team for always putting it together week over week, even though it was originally only probably for like 5 subscribers at a time, and then it grew to 100. Always love to see that growth, and wish you more continued success. Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I need to highlight Injustice, who is working on charts every week, and he's just an amazing partner who is always doing amazing work. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. So, and without you too. So thank you so much. It's just so awesome.
Thanks, and Stylus. Okay, so that is that. And then to go over our news again, just kind of summarize. So here is the Pi chart. Pi finally launched, as many of you who are pioneers know. It was a successful launch by all accounts. High volume. The token didn't dump to oblivion. It's actually holding up pretty strong, and we could possibly be getting a rounded bottom here, which is really, really nice to see. If we can, keep this stable, and then once people realize that the token has hit a bottom, maybe we'll start getting some buying pressure. One of the Boy the Dip, him and I were talking earlier today, and he did mention the China market will be opening up in a few hours, actually very soon, actually a couple of minutes. And he mentioned that could possibly create some more buying pressure on the token, because they haven't actually been able to participate in the launch yet, because obviously over there their time zone is completely different. So this chart's actually not looking too bad. Good volume. We will continue to bring you updates on Pi as they become available. If they're continuing to build, millions and millions and millions of pioneers who believe in this project, and they have, I believe, 100 projects or dApps that were launching or ready to launch right at the moment that Pi went on mainnet. So we'll continue to develop to share those developments with everyone on the channel. Exactly. As Powergraph says here, forming a sexy cup and handle. We'll have to see. But you know what they say, rounded bottoms pay the bills. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Okay, gentlemen, is there anything else you would like to add before we end this week's episode?
How many of you guys thought when you woke up to Pi this morning that it was going to see another delay for like another 3 months?
I did. Not gonna lie, I thought there was going to be a last-minute delay. Because that seems to be the norm. This has been a long time in coming. I didn't actually think it was going to finally have a launch day.
Yeah, I have to congratulate too. What about you, Cruiser? You thought the
I
same?
forgot it was launching this morning.
Forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a couple of hours into my workday before I remembered, and I checked, and I'm like, oh, wow, it's doing pretty well. And then Crypto Crazy told me what the price was an hour earlier, and well, that changed my tune pretty quick. But no, I didn't think there was going to be any delay because this was the first real date that they put forward that seemed to be concrete. So just glad it's working out the way it has. And I'm just looking at the data for the day. And it's quite interesting. It's almost a 50-50 split with Pi. 4.67 million units bought and 4.62 million units sold. Almost.
Wow, that's actually really, really good. That's
Yeah.
really good,
Now,
considering
listen,
it's a token that everyone got basically free.
That could be by design, right? Think about that. That could be by design, where Pi knew, right? The founders knew that people were going to sell, and they wanted to maintain that momentum. And maybe they had, maybe they didn't put all that liquidity in there, or God knows, and they were prepared for it. To me, I thought it was successful just because it launched.
Mm-hmm.
That's Absolutely. It. The fact that after 5 years they just launched, that's just success. I didn't care whether it launched at a penny or launched at $30. To me, it's successful. My hats off to them after probably hearing all the naysayers and all this stuff. They stuck to their guns and launched, right? So congrats and kudos to everybody, all the pioneers that kept pressing that button. And we're able to reap some rewards today from those who only had maybe 50 Pi to all those who probably held 10,000 or more. I know you guys woke up very happy this morning. We're able to take advantage of it. We got a new market coming on board. Does that mean they're going to continue to sell? We don't know, right? Or maybe buy. But congrats off to the Pi team on a successful launch, and congrats to all of you guys.
Yep, I concur with that sentiment. And now I'm curious to see, it's totally up to the Pi core team now to continue building and to see what they come up with. For those that don't know, Pi network, Pi blockchain is a layer 1, and they've already got a bunch of projects that are building on there. So I'm really, really curious to see what comes out of it. I know that they do want the Pi token, since it's fast, the blockchain is fast, the transaction costs, the gas fees are low. So they do want to, make some kind of a payment system, which it already is. There's a bunch of merch stores that are available through the Pi network where you can purchase different things using Pi. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what they develop from here and what they build. I'll be watching them and seeing what they come up with.
And I'm looking at where the price point is hovering right now, and I tend to look at it as a testament to the faith that people have in the project. Because for something like this, to launch at what 10 whatever it was, and now almost through its first full day, just under $1. I think that's pretty impressive. So it's I'm not selling any of mine. I'm just going to see how this plays out.
Professor, may I ask you a question? I'm sorry if I missed it, but why you don't sell any of yours? Because I also have this idea, I kind of missed the mining part that I didn't mine that much. I have some Pi, but I have a feeling that it's not a good idea to sell right now, or even I feel that this team was heating up for so long and analyzing this market and working so slowly that it might have so much more in store that we have no idea. So I have this internal feeling that it's not a good idea to get rid of your Pi right now.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly how I'm looking at it. This is a project that they put a lot of time and effort into, and I don't think they're done. I think the Pi network, the entire ecosystem, has a big, bright future. So I'm holding on to the pie that I have mined over the last 6 years. I'm just going to hold on to it and see how this plays out and enjoy the ride. I'm very bullish on the whole pie ecosystem.
For me, I had a few wallets put together, and one was totally unlocked. Didn't care. Didn't want faster. I just wanted to make sure that I sold when it launched. And from those profits, I took half for me, and the other half is to buy more pie at the bottom, because I'll get more pie right now than I did at $2. Right. So to me, this whole idea of hodling through the storm and what this makes no sense. For me, I personally, I like to let me get my profits now. I know it's there, and when the price tanks, I'm gonna take advantage of it, right, and get back in. And that's what I'm doing. So if it breaks certain trends, certain TNA, I'm gonna say, okay, you know what, it's time to buy. I'm just waiting for the Chinese market to see how they go. Go through the Sydney markets, London markets, and so on and so forth, to kind of make that decision on when to buy in again. But to me, I'm an all-in profit at the end of the day, right? So this is a great opportunity to, again, do your TNA, see what the market is doing, and make a decision that will benefit you and your family, right? So here we go.
Well, I'm a strong believer. Looking at this chart, that bottom you speak of could very well be right where we are right now. Obviously, it remains to be seen. We could see a lot more dumping, and it could come down further. But just looking at the chart right now, it looks pretty bullish.
No, I agree. I was surprised there was almost a 50-50 split between buys and sells. And to me, I'm just super curious if that's by design or not. And if it is, again, great job, kudos, right? And if it isn't, then we'll find out, right? When if that 50-50 split maintains itself through the next market.
And on that note, just to add one more thing to that, looking at the 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, it's maintaining that almost 50-50 split for buys and sells throughout the entire day so far. So
that's good.
We'll see if it maintains that as we go forward.
Guys, I think that at this point, any reputable big project should design things and risk manage and understand how market will behave, like at least predict or try to predict it. It would be so stupid if it wasn't the design. I'm so sorry, but it has to be a design. So I don't know. I feel that it's it's a really good project, and I'm watching it. It's so interesting. Not really upset that at some point I trusted it.
Yeah, same. Well, anybody who's been mining it from the very, very beginning, they've been around. We've been doing it for 6 years now. So you got to have a little bit of trust, a little bit of faith in something to be involved for it for that long. But like I said, we will see how they are going forward. See if they continue to build, continue to develop, and hopefully the price will reflect that. That's pretty much it this week, guys. Appreciate everyone for joining. Thanks for Silas for coming up and listening every week. We really appreciate it. Cruiser One, pleasure as always. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel on your way out. And if you have any information or if you want to see anything on the channel, just leave a comment down below. We're always happy to engage and have additional content on the stream each and every week. All right, thanks everyone, and hope everyone has a great week. Happy Pi Day, and take care and have a good night, Pioneers.
Thank you.
Good night.
No trouble. You find suggest for real, no struggle. Calculations running through your mind, weighing options, seeing what you'll find. Crypto waves crashing like the tide. Hold your breath, it's a crazy ride.